Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding, slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Juexin, or you can call me Shane. I'd like to go over a few courtesy announcements before we begin our service. We have families with small children are welcome to use the downstairs. There's plenty of toys, Legos, and fun stuff down there. There's also a water fountain. If anyone needs to use get a drink of water at any time, you can go down there. Just make sure you close the door behind yourself. We also have 2 bathrooms through those curtains. If you need to use the restroom at any time, you can get up. We just ask that you don't walk in front of the dais, just go around. There's also 1 bathroom downstairs. We have, and if you want to adjust your seating, I think all the chairs are pretty much full. We got a few chairs if you need to sit in a chair, or if you wanted to move around to be close to friends and family, just do that. And then last thing, I wanted to remind everyone that we chant in a medium and upbeat tempo with a smile on our face, and just to kind of breathe life into the sutra. So with that being said, I'll invite everyone to stand and greet one another in whatever way you want. Okay, we will chant the 3 refuges, which are located on page 3. I go from refuge to Buddha, the mindfully awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated fully. I am aware that tools are within my heart. I vow to practice them. I vow to practice mindful breathing and smiling, looking deeply into things. I vow to understand living beings and suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to offer joy to one person in the morning and to help relieve the grief of one person in the afternoon. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and power, and I can help be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. The Dharma and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. Turn to the next page, page 4. We will recite the Heart Sutra. Maha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion from the deep practice of prajna, paramita, perceived the emptiness all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. No form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind. No realm of sight. No realm of consciousness. No ignorance. No extinction of ignorance. No old age and death. Nor extinction of them. No suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna. Paramita. Therefore, the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Away from all delusive views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna, paramita, is the great Dharani, the radiant, fearless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, aragate, arasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, aragate, arasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, aragate, arasamgate, bodhisvaha. Dhamma prajna paramita hridaya sutra. Maybe see. Welcome again, everyone. It's so good to see this place full of new people and people coming back. Again, my name is Juexin Su, or Shane. I go by either. Today's Dharma talk is going to be about the fifth precept, respecting and protecting your mind and your body. And I don't think I've heard a better rendition than from Thich Nhat Hanh, which we recited for the morning bell chant, the 5 mindfulness practices. So I just wanted to read it one more time. If you wanted to follow along, it's on page 13 of our chant book. So he puts it as nourishment and healing. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I'm committed to cultivating good health, both physical, mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I'll practice looking deeply into how I consume the 4 kinds of nourishment, namely edible foods, sense impressions, volition, and consciousness. I'm determined not to gamble or to use alcohol, drugs, or any other products that contain toxins, such as certain websites, electronic games, TV programs, films, magazines, books, and conversations. I'll practice coming back to the present to be in touch with the refreshing, healing, and nourishing elements in me and around me, not letting regrets and sorrow drag me back into the past, or letting anxieties, fear, or craving pull me out of the present moment. I am determined not to try to cover up loneliness, anxiety, or other suffering by losing myself in consumption. I will contemplate interbeing and consume in a way that preserves peace, joy, and well-being in my body and consciousness, and that the collective body and consciousness of my family, my society, and the earth. And that's a lot there, but anything can be a toxin, as you can see in here, not just alcohol or gambling or drugs, but TV programs, electronics, books, conversations. So just not wanting to go into those, to be mindful of everything that we consume, not just food and drink, but and also knowing that a lot of times for myself, I struggle with addiction, alcoholic, marijuana addict, and trying to cover up loneliness, covering up the not wanting to feel that anxiety or that depression. So kind of just losing myself or losing yourself in consumption. And that's what this precept is all about, really being mindful of what you consume and how you move around in the world. So for this talk, I actually wanted to do a basically what we do for our recovery meetings. So I'm going to go through this same steps as if we would for a recovery. I am one of the lead chair people of the recovery meetings we have here on Mondays. We have another one on Wednesday and on Friday mornings. But this recovery program has saved my life, and it's really helped me in my practice. So usually when we start, I welcome everyone. We would have had meditated for 20 minutes already, and then we either meet up here or meet downstairs. Usually we meet up here because we have 30, 40 people, and we just can't fit everyone downstairs. So, but it is a very powerful meeting. And I would start off as, although we are a standalone group using modified steps, our meeting is based on the 12-step principles of confidentiality, surrender, and spiritual recovery. We are here to share our stories, focusing on our experience, strength, and hope in recovery in an atmosphere of respect and anonymity. Our approach is based in Buddhist practice, but we are not governed by this temple or its clergy, and we value and welcome anyone's path to a higher power that helps their recovery. Our only requirement for attending is a desire to end your relationship with your addiction. So yeah, this is a very open meeting. It's not just people who have a Buddhist background, but any background, just if you want to get sober. And that is really helpful. And then asking if it's your first time at a meeting, it's your first time here, welcome. And we go through and ask anybody if they're celebrating a sobriety birthday, 7, 30, 90 days, however many months. And we really like to celebrate people's time of recovery, because it can be difficult to keep those streaks going. And then I think a question we ask is anyone celebrating a belly button birthday? And a belly button birthday is just your regular old birthday. And it's just a funny way. It literally says right here, belly button. And so then we like to just celebrate and everything in life. And then we have these really cool coins that we pass around for anybody 7, 30, 60, however many months, just to kind of as a token of our sobriety. And then we read the preamble together, which we usually do at the end, the closing gathas. So if you turn to page 5, I believe it's on page 5. Our new chant books are a little bit different, but I'm enjoying them. Page 6, actually. So we're just I'd like to invite you all to chant along the Gatha of Atonement, and just the Gatha of Atonement. For all unskillful actions ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Thank you. And that is how we begin our meeting with that Gatha, knowing that since forever I've been dealing with anger, greed, and ignorance, and they've been born of my body, my mouth, and my thoughts. And our thoughts become words, and our words become actions. And so those are the 3 gates through which we live our lives. And this, the precept, the 5th precept, is really examining what we intake to make sure that we're not being heedless with our actions, with our words, and with our thoughts. Because I know for myself, I don't drink. I've spent almost 7 years since I've had alcohol, and that has been a huge decision. Having alcoholics in my family, it's really helped. And some people can have alcohol without becoming heedless. And basically, this precept is not saying you have to completely cut out anything, but what it really is reflecting at looking back at yourself, like, can I have one drink without it turning to 100 or turning into more than I can even handle, and then becoming blackout and not knowing what you're doing? And the same thing with getting distracted with phone or video games, just becoming distant and not being there, being present. So with our recovery meetings, which have really helped myself and a lot of the people here, it really is something I feel good about being able to be a part of that now. The last few weeks I've been really sick. I've had some complications with a new medication for ADHD I've been taking, and I've stopped taking that, thankfully, but it was making me so sick to my stomach that I wasn't able to be here for the last couple Mondays, which I apologize to anyone who's been coming regularly to those meetings. They will be back on starting tomorrow, and hopefully I can find a backup person. But for those meetings, we usually read how it works, and I'd like to read how it works to you all. From all the different recovery programs we have worked with, those of us who have found and maintained sobriety have benefited from 2 central elements: honesty and spirituality. Being radically honest with ourselves broke through the pattern of use and all the stories we told ourselves that supported it. By seeing just how dishonest we had been with ourselves and our using and our relationships, we unlocked the door to our prison of addiction. To step through that door to freedom, we had to look at our spiritual condition. To be clear, spirituality does not mean anything supernatural, though it does to some. It describes a common human experience that is about turning our focus from the inside out, recognizing that something greater and wiser than our fearful selves out there, and that it is ours to share in. We free ourselves by engaging with a world that is far deeper and far wider than the small, lonely one we hid in while using. Once we had opened ourselves to others' wisdom, we saw that some people had overcome problems like ours and began to trust the experience and advice of others. The longer we are in recovery, the more we see people relapse and fall away. Addiction is a complicated and physical, psychological condition. Some cases and situations are more severe than others. Some people struggle greatly with honesty and spirituality due to their past experiences. There's nothing better about those who make it than those who don't. Like others' diseases, some people's conditions are worse than others. But we think even the worst cases can find hope in their persevere in a practice where they honestly examine their thoughts and behavior and keep trying to grow in connection to others. With gratitude to all the recovery traditions we have shared, we suggest these steps as a path to lead out of the suffering of addiction. And these are the 12 steps traditionally in AA, but some of our founding members who have come here. But again, this meeting is not governed by the temple, but a lot of the original members came and said, hey, we need this for our Sangha and for the greater community. And they rewrote the 12 steps in a Buddhist language. And they go as follows. 1, we admitted we were powerless over our addictions, that our lives had become unmanageable and full of suffering. 2, we came to believe that mindfulness and non-attachment could ease our suffering. 3, we made a decision to surrender ourselves to loving kindness and practice mindfulness in our daily lives. 4, we made a searching and fearless inventory of our personal karmic history as we began to recognize our delusions. 5, we admitted our tendencies toward greed, anger, and delusion to ourselves, another human being, and the universe. 6, we prepared ourselves through practice to release our attachment to these tendencies. 7, we made peace with our tendencies, giving ourselves to wisdom, patience, and love. 8, we made a list of all sentient beings we had harmed and became willing to make amends for that harm. 9, we made direct amends to these beings wherever possible, except when to do so would cause suffering to them or others. 10, we continued to take personal inventory in order to avoid further suffering. And when we noticed clinging to our tendencies, we promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through regular practice to develop loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity to ease suffering in the world. And 12, having awakened from attachment to our addictions and the causes of our suffering, we carry our message to others who suffer and practice this program in all our affairs. When you hear all these steps, you might say, that's too much. I can't possibly do all that. Don't be discouraged. Remember that you don't do them all at once, and they work by doing them in order, one at a time, and we are here to help if you ask for it. Make no mistake. These steps require commitment to see them through, but we believe you can do it because we did, and we continue to work for us. So that's a lot there. But again, sharing with the greater Sangha some of the things we do in our recovery program, I really feel like we can all these steps, whether you're an addict or not, can help us in our practice. And there's a section called the promises that I'd like to read as well. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will realize that through mindfulness and non-attachment, our suffering has at last begun to diminish. Are these extravagant Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. So going through that, and myself as a recovering addict, these promises, these steps have really helped me in my practice. Um, so after we do all that, we pick two readings, and I've got the two readings we usually do. And we usually pick them at random, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Well, this is a good one, especially for the coming week. The inspiration of women. We must still struggle to find spiritual ways that are adapted to us as women and which validate and develop us as women. We are not asexual entities who must deny their inherent nature in order to be accepted on the spiritual path. When we do this, we will certainly be of greater benefit to others than if we are trying to ape men, following traditions that were created by men for men. Even though I believe that on an absolute level, the true nature of the mind has no sexual characteristics, on the relative level, that means to achieving illumination must be adapted to the individual. The differences between individuals must be appreciated and even celebrated. Women and men are different when we speak from a relative point of view. But how these differences are interpreted and whether these differences are seen positively or negatively is a matter of cultural and religious conditioning. In order for women to find a viable path to liberation, we need the inspiration of other women who have succeeded in remaining true to their own energies without becoming fixed on their gender and have this integrity reached complete liberation. And that was from Tulsum Alatone, Women of Wisdom. And this book is full of different Buddhist teachings that, again, we pick a few readings, can be at random, and discuss. And mindfulness miracles. Concentration is the practice of happiness. There is no happiness without concentration. When you eat an orange, try to practice concentration. Eat it in such a way that pleasure, joy, and happiness are possible the whole time. You can look at the orange and breathe in such a way that it reveals itself as a miracle. It is. An orange is nothing less than a miracle. If you just, it is just like you. You are also a miracle of life. You are a manifest miracle. And this is from Your True Home by Thich Nhat Hanh. And so going through the readings, picking the topic, and then just discussing. It's an open discussion, and as an addict, it can be difficult to share your experience. For myself, my name is Shane. I'm a recovering addict, and everyone would say, "Hey, Shane," and then I would start to share. As a chairperson, usually the chairperson would go last, but everyone has the opportunity to share as much or as little as they want about whatever addiction or is ailing them. And for the fifth precept, to respect your mind and body, this program really helps a lot of people. And it can be really healing to share your truth, to be authentic. And for myself, I've been struggling with my own addiction, trying to come back, having a relapse. This time of year can be really difficult for me. My grandma passed 2 years ago now in October, and just speaking on that, last week's service was very healing and really beautiful, and I really appreciate Sunshin's offering, and anyone who was here. That it just really moved me. And times of grief can be times where we isolate and use, but not trying to guilt ourselves. I don't want to create guilt, but being honest and because I've lied to my partner. I've lied to my family. I've lied to myself. I don't want to keep lying. And this practice, this what we do here on the every Sunday at our recovery meetings is coming back and admitting that, hey, I've done wrong. I've messed up, but promising to do better, to always, every time you get knocked down, you get back up again. Like that really good song. I was hoping. Uh, anyway, with a little bit of light and longevity, life has to have comedy and it has tragedy, and that's why we share our joys and concerns. And with this practice of being honest and saying, hey, I am not doing so well, but I have a community, I have people that I can reach out to that support me, and the Sangha supports, and the people in the meeting support me, and we support each other. And it is very powerful practice of coming together and sharing our experience, of whether it be good or bad, and just being there, being authentic. And so with that, I really want to apologize for not showing up as I could be, and to do better from here on out, and to continue offering talks and continue to lead these meetings, because I find that they help me so much, and I see that they help other people. And with the fifth precept, going back into my own history, with taking receiving the gifts of the precepts, we call them receiving the gifts instead of taking the vows, because they are gifts. We have a preceptor group right now that's been meeting every other week. Today we're talking about the fifth precept, and because it's really been one of the hardest ones for me to be to uphold. The first time I went through the preceptor program, right before I was going to take the precepts, I had gotten blackout drunk, and I had really not felt like I could honor them. So I just stopped coming, and I said, I can't do this. And it felt really awful. And eventually I came back. And the first time I came back, Hung Soo, my teacher, was there, and listening to the chants and everything, I just was weeping, and I could just feel the energy and the support from everybody. And there was someone who was from the recovery meeting. His name was Lane. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2020, but he met with me, and he was there my first time at the meeting, and everyone was so supportive. And from there, the next time the precepts were offered, I had went through the program again, and I received the name Juexin, which translates to unadorned determination. I'm determined to keep coming. Every time I get knocked down, I get back up again. And as someone with addiction who has those tendencies, I really want to be of service and to help others. And when I had the opportunity to take over the meeting, the Monday night meeting, it was a huge honor. And it is something, it's like coming from the very first time and then now leading the meetings and trying to help other people. That is my life's work, and why I continue coming here and wanting to help others, because addiction can be a scary and dark place. There's a lot of overdose, suicide, things that really bring us down. But having the support of a Sangha, a support of a group, is really helpful. And I'd like to close with the Serenity Proclamation, and what we would close any meeting with. And if you know it, coming to the recovery meetings, it's just changed a little bit, but it goes like, love, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today. And we're all holding hands and standing in a circle, and it can be a really powerful way to close. And with that, I would like to prepare ourselves for meditation. Our meditation. For those of you not familiar with meditation, I'd like to just give a short instruction. If you're on a chair, you want to have your feet flat on the ground. If you're sitting on a cushion, you want to have your legs either crossed or you can be kneeling. Have your hands in your knees or in your lap, and then you just want to have a straight back. You want to be upright but not uptight. And a lot of people, meditation, they believe they can't do it because they can't stop their thoughts. Meditation is not about stopping your thinking. It's about observing your thoughts. It's an awareness practice. So you imagine yourself as a mountain, and your thoughts are the clouds that come through. You're not trying to push those clouds away. You're not trying to hold on to them. You just look and see, oh, that one kind of looks like an elephant. And come back to your breath. Your breath is always with you, so your breath is your anchor. And so as you see, or as you get lost in your thought, which is normal, you just label it thinking, come back to your breath. And we will begin and end with 3 strikes of the bell. Thank you, everyone. At this time, we will share our joys and concerns, something we can share what's been going on in our life, whether it be good or bad, and hold the space with each other as a Sangha.
Hello.
Hello.
I have both a joy and a concern. So the concern, I think, is everybody will share in the room, no matter how you lean or vote. This is going to be a really tough week for everybody. So good luck on Tuesday with your mental health, and be kind to yourself. I'll see you next week and see if we're still here. And my joy, and I'm going to go on a little neurospicy rant, is that it is November 3rd, which means that it's Godzilla Day. And today marks the 70th anniversary of the very first Godzilla movie that was released in 1954. And I really love Godzilla.
That's awesome.
I think there's 38, and I've seen all of them. And also, because to commemorate Godzilla Day, they have re-released Godzilla -1, which is the Academy Award-winning Japanese film that's in theaters right now. So you can go watch it.
That's awesome.
It's live action. Yeah, there are animes. There's 3.
A concern. One of our Dharma teacher interns, Chango Su, last night, his son swallowed a quarter, and he was in ER all night, and he's doing better. I don't know whether he's out now or not, but let's hold him and his family. And Miles is the quarter swallower. So, yeah, hold them in the light.
Yes. Thank you.
I have a joy and concern. My concern is for my parents. They're 86 and they both have mild dementia. My joy is that I'm 53 days sober. And I want my parents to be in their right minds and stay around long enough to see me get at least a couple of years sober, because I've put them through a lot in my life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Sangha. So I have a couple joys. Simple joy on Halloween. I was walking down Eastern and Division there, and I don't see kids very much, right? And so this little kid, there's family going to trick or treating, and all these people that go up there. And this little, like, probably 4-year-old, he's a little small for his age. He just runs up to me and he holds out his bag, and I think, oh, he wants candy, right? So I'm sorry, kid, I don't have. He just throws his hand up in the air, and like, but I've got one of those. You know, got him a high five. That's all he wanted, man. I was like, it was so awesome. He goes out of his way to run up to me just to, and then on he goes to trick or treat. And I was like, whoa, man. It really brought my heart a great deal of joy. And then yesterday, in reverence to what you're talking about today, I was honored with the privilege to introduce my sponsor that is celebrating 14 years of sobriety at a guest talk, SNL talk for recovery. And it was a real honor. And dude, it was such a great share. Dude, he was hilarious. He really was. He really brought a lot of life to recovery. And it was a real great honor. So
Thank you.
Hello, Sangha. So I have 2 joys to share. The first is my partner. After 5 years of a lot of hard work and struggle and intense trying, had a pretty significant life/career breakthrough. On Friday, she was accepted to PA school.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're really excited for her regarding that. And she's up in Traverse City, and she's doing PA school at GVSU, so she'll have to be down here more. So that's fun. I don't have to drive up there as much because she already has to be down here for school. The other joy, I myself have been going through a career transition these last couple of years, and with that, as I'm sure you guys know, comes with a lot of financial instability. My parents and my family live in a kind of just call it an obscure part of the country that can be very expensive. Excuse me, to travel to. So for the first time in 3 years, I a couple of days ago bought a plane ticket home, and so I'll be spending Christmas for my family for the first time in 3 years. Yeah, it was very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. A couple joys. One, my wife is 24 years sober this year. She's been really helpful to a lot of people as a sponsor and as a sponsee, and also around the house, and just helping me with my own struggles of addiction over the years. So, and I also have my son here as a joy. He gets me up, gets me going here. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a hot mess today. But he gets me here, which is great because my concern is that, I am utterly dependent on a specific set of toxins that I have to take every 2 weeks to keep me going. And he's kind of been my rock and helping me get here and helping me just process it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I have a joy that's mixed with a lot of other emotions, that I'm able to be there for a loved one in recent times. But the concern is that she recently had to put down her dog, and it is weighing heavily on her heart. So, that's all I have to share.
Thank you.
Hello, Sangha. I have a joy and a concern. My concern is lately I have been looking into switching jobs, although my pursuit has not been going too well. Right now, the job market seems as very difficult, especially with the holidays being right around the corner. My joy, though, is that with the holidays right around the corner, I've scheduled some time off of work to spend more time with my family. So in those days and times off with vacations and the holidays, I'll be able to at least be in good company.
Do we have any from online? No. All right. Well, I'll share one myself. I'm just so full of joy to see this place full and for everyone to be here today. So thank you. And with that, we will hold our joys and our concerns with a moment of silence. With that, we will move on to our November announcements. For the first one, we have online meditation Wednesdays from 6 to 6:45 p.m. on Zoom. You can contact Venerable Kunga Nima or see the newsletter for more information. We have our Dharma discussion group Thursday mornings from 9:30 to 11 at the temple, and you can contact Reverend Jing Su or Ryan Deffold to see the newsletter for more information. We have our Avatam Saka Sutra study group that meets every other Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. It's been meeting via Discord online, and you can either get with Will or myself for more information on that. The Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple board meeting. Our next board meeting will be this Sunday, November 10th, from 11:30 to 1, and right downstairs in the temple community room. And it is open to anybody. You can also join via Google Meet. And we have our Bodhi Day potluck coming up Sunday, December 1st. So we've got a little while, but following Sunday service, please join us for a potluck reception to celebrate Bodhi Day. Please bring a dessert or a snack that serves 6 people. Consider listing the ingredients of those with food preferences, allergies, or sensitivities. If you've ever been to any of our potlucks, you know there's always good food. We have our Bodhisattva Precept program starting January 4th through August 3rd. It'll be the first Saturday of each month. We'll meet from 7:45 a.m. to noon. We'll meet at the temple. Registration ends Friday, January 3rd. You can contact Venerable Kunganima and see the newsletter for more information. And last but not least, our Buddhist-based recovery meeting, which I went to a lot of detail today. We have every Monday, 6:30, we have our meditation. 7 o'clock is the meeting at the temple. Wednesday, 6:30 is the meditation at the Alano Club, 1020 College Avenue, and the meeting is at 7. And then Fridays, we have it here in the morning, 10:05 a.m. is the meditation, and the meeting is at 10:30 and meets at here or via Zoom. And for any more details, you can visit zengr.org or subscribe to our weekly newsletter. Have any other temple-related announcements?
Good morning. My name is Jan Ensing. My Dharma name is Poshi, and I serve on the board of directors as president and secretary. And I wanted to announce the results of the vote that we took last week. Please welcome our newest board member, John Wezerick. And we greatly appreciate his willingness to volunteer time and talents to serve our Sangha. He will join our current board members, Kent Robbins, Nikki Blake is not here, and myself. So thank you to all who serve on the board.
Thank you. Awesome. And is anyone giving the Dana announcement?
Good morning, Sangha. My name is Ellen. In our practice, the word dana means generosity, and it comes in all shapes and sizes. Certainly, time is a huge part of your generosity today. You're sitting here with the Sangha. That's cool. If you'd ever like to help with become an incense lighter, become a greeter at the door, help with setting up and tearing down after potlucks, becoming a Dana announcer, hint, hint. It's not a tough gig, and you can use cue cards if you want. It's really not a big deal. We also accept goods like toilet paper and paper towels. There is a list, excuse me, down in the room downstairs where we wash the dishes, which is another thing you can help with. There's a list that's being kept up to date on what we might need down there. So check that out if there's something you can help us with. And also, of course, financial help. No one here at the temple gets a paycheck. Everything that happens here is because someone is donating their time. But we do need to keep the lights on and keep the heat going now that we're entering winter. So financially, if you can help out, anything is certainly wonderful. We have Dana boxes at the end of the temple. Cash, check. Also, each Dana box has a QR code, takes you right to PayPal. If you go to our website, zengr.org, there's a donate button there as well. You can set up in PayPal to do a one-time donation or set it up as monthly if you'd like. Also, if you're watching in the land of YouTube, there is a drop-down menu there as well. It takes you directly to PayPal. It's a wonderful thing. So thank you for whatever you can do to help us keep the wheels moving on this bus.
Thank you. And with that, we will all stand and do our closing gathas on page 6. Together we say, for all unskillful actions ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma days without number, I vow to enter. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. And we'll split in the middle and bow to each other. Thank you, everyone. I invite you to tea downstairs. If you want, people will be gathering the booklets. Whoever's gathering them. And for the preceptors, we'll have our meeting at 11:15 upstairs. Yeah, just because. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah.